Thank you for listening to Talking to Our Souls, or to put it another way, to Talking Our Souls. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only and may deal with adult topics and adult themes.
Brown sound, we're with you when you fight. Brown sound, walk with the dogs tonight. Brown sound, Cleveland is right behind you.
Hello everybody and welcome to the last of the Arseholes. Sad days. This is actually the last one of this particular iteration. This will be the last arsehole you hear. This is the voice of the last arsehole you'll ever hear. This is our last arsehole. I am the last of the arseholes. This is probably the last arsehole you'll hear before the nuclear bomb goes off. What I'm trying to say is we're going to have to stop using this facility and we're going to look at another way of doing it, maybe in the, I was going to say autumn. That's right, isn't it? After the summer, it's the autumn. So, nothing compares to you. That's how sad it is. I was very sad about Sinead, and I'm sad, not even sadder, because that's not fair, because she was great. Nothing compares to you. It's the 31st of July, 2023, and it's me, Steve Henn, the last of the arseholes. And over there, we have the first of the arseholes.
It's only going to start glamping. Immigrants, get your tents out. Mr. Singh.
Get your tents out for the lads. Glamping's funny. I like that. I like glamping. Well, I like glamping, but I actually like the way that you actually said it's glamping. I bet. You remember? Have you ever been camping in a good way, not in an under canvas way?
Well. Let me explain something here, Steve. Immigrants. We do not understand white people getting in tents. Okay. Right. And I was born here. So asking these immigrants who come here to get into tents, all right, they're going to be totally confused.
So under canvas is not a thing?
No.
How do I get out of that without sounding racist?
Definitely not.
That's weird though, because I've had a lot of fun, as it were, under canvas. I was a scout, but it also depends as well on the thickness and the material of the young lad. No, of the canvas, right? So and if you touch it when it's raining, you'll let water in by touching the thing. So sometimes if you're in a small tent and you're moving around like that and it's raining, you get soaked. It's very uncomfortable, and I can't believe that Suella is going to be paying for the best tents. Is she? It's a marquee policy.
What a joke.
Do you love her for bringing tents into it?
She ain't got a bloody clue, has she? Because I was reading something earlier on. You know, this boat with
the barge.
The barge, right? I'm thinking she's getting all these ideas from like holidays. Let's get a ferry, right? Oh, let's put them in tents in the field. I think what's the next thing going to be? Like caravans or a static caravan, should we say?
But people used to travel in caravans, didn't they? As in the whole migration of people across Europe were in caravans.
Yeah.
But that actually, I think, meant the whole line of people rather than a little cigar box on two wheels going like that down a motorway.
Which I was reading it. I didn't know this because it's not really widely reported. Is that she's looking to house children on these boats? I'm thinking it's not clear whether they're saying unaccompanied children. Because if it is, then that's totally wrong, isn't it? You can't stick them in a bunch of adults.
They've lost like 150 unaccompanied children, and that's wrong. And because you don't know what they're doing. Well, you could have a guess, fuckers. But the barge thing is mad because it's like it's what the country wants. The country wants barges and tents, and they want all these illegal. They're not illegal.
You're starting to sound like Nigel, you are.
I can sound like Nigel if you want. Do you want me to sound like Nigel? Here's the bigger question. Do we think, chaps, when we're there in the front line, when the balloon goes up with fixed bayonets, when the whistle's about to blow, to go over the top, do we actually want to be there with women beside us? Do we? I mean, what an extraordinary, bizarre idea. I certainly don't think so, but maybe it's because I've got so many women pregnant over the years, I have a different view. I find it very difficult to think that we could stand up and run over the top together into machine guns or whatever. Men and women are different. Thank God. Do I sound like him?
I sounded more like an attempt at Flash Adder, from Blackadder.
Oh, Rick Mayo. I'd take that on the chin. Yeah. I auditioned for his mum once.
I think. Ooh.
Rick Mayo's mum.
Okay.
That's basically the story.
No. We can't have double chin wagging. We can't have women. And we can't have immigrants. I think we should be all men, and all men should have sex with one another.
With one another. Flash heart. But because you're quite a big fan of Nigel Farage, and when I say fan, I mean he knows a lot about Nigel, right? So he said, "I've got a lot of women pregnant in my time," right? Do we know how many children he's got, or is he saying that he's had a lot of sex?
I don't know him that well, Steve. I like to.
I was just his babysitter.
I like to listen to him. I like to listen to him, just to see what he says. I just think he's an interesting character.
But maybe it's because I've got so many women pregnant, right? I know how many children he's got now. How many do you think then children has he got? I've got so many women pregnant. And that seems to think that he's got children by other mothers.
He can't have more than Boris, can he? Because Boris is about 12 or 13, is it? He reckons.
That we know of. One of his children in the House of Lords now.
Let's say 10 then.
10. I've got so many women pregnant. 4 is what it says on Wiki. He's got 4 children. So he's got 4 women pregnant. But he's right. You wouldn't want a woman next to you when you're going over the top, chaps. Do you know what I mean?
Not if you got him pregnant, no.
Maybe he means pregnant women. But then there's a... Who was it? Somebody asked one of the footballing nations how many lesbians are in the team. I'm trying to say that...
Oh, that's terrible. No.
If any of the 2 people in the English team are lesbians, then they wouldn't get me pregnant.
No, this is bad, Steve. It was BBC World Service, and it asked the Moroccan captain, right? It was from an Islamic country where...
Oh, I see.
It's banned, right?
Oh, that's why.
Right, and you think of enough sense. Why are you asking this person this question? She has to go back home to Morocco. So why would you, if there are any lesbians in the team, why would she want to tell you and the world and get her punished, and probably her for knowing, by her authorities in her country?
I don't understand why they are. That's it. Well, it's just. I mean, the thing is, you wouldn't ask that of anybody in any particular football team. You wouldn't say it. We know there's about 12 gay men in the England football team. How many do they have? 11. Right. We know that, right? But who cares if any of them are gay in the female teams? It doesn't matter. So she only asked that question because the country objects to a bunch of carpet munchers.
It's outlawed, isn't it, in Morocco? Why? You must be pretty stupid to think, one, to ask that question,
because
and
no one's
two,
going
to
to
think you got to get an answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she only did it to stir the
but
pot.
It's wrong.
Yeah. It's like asking a Conservative government how many members of Parliament are intelligent. You're never going to get an answer.
No. If you look at a comparison, it'd be I think a comparison would be if you asked Nigel Farage how many women he didn't get pregnant?
How many thankful women he didn't
Yeah.
get pregnant?
No. I got double chin wagging. I got women. I got women. The women. I impregnated women. Women who didn't get impregnated by me wanted to get impregnated by me, which in my mind is like getting them pregnant anyway. Immigration, Brexit.
Did you see what he's done the other day as well? About because Coots have got this this lawyer firm in, and apparently this lawyer's a Remainer, so Nigel Farage is having to go at him now because he's a Remainer lawyer. But the thing is, the lawyer's going to be just going to look at the facts. Doesn't matter if he's a Remainer or a Brexiteer. I don't know why he likes to make it all about Brexit.
Lawyers look at the facts. I think lawyers look at the zeros on the on the checks,
paycheck.
aren't they? More than the truth. Yeah. How much money is this going to get me? It don't matter if you're Brexit or you're a Remainer. He's more interested in monies.
But no, I do think lawyers are going for facts rather than they're not going to make, they're not going to change their decision because they're going to get paid whatever. So the fact that anyway, I've got I've read a lot of the court's document, 40 pages. About a page is about Nigel Farage, about facts, and the rest is about what he said.
Steve was saying that I'm a big fan of Nigel Farage. I haven't read it.
You haven't read it?
I haven't read it.
You haven't read it. Nobody else has
and
read
you're
it,
not a fan of Nigel Farage.
Yes.
You're not a fan of Nigel Farage, but you read it.
Because I still believe he's been lying through his teeth to people. I wanted to know. No, but that poor woman, that poor woman who resigned from the NatWest, she did nothing wrong.
Pretty rich, Steve.
Oh, she's rich. But she didn't do anything wrong.
£5 million payoff.
That's all right, though.
Well,
she deserves it.
Well, why did she resign then, Steve, if she didn't do anything wrong?
Right. Well, what do you think she did wrong?
Disclosed private information about his finance to a BBC
saying
reporter. He had to have £1 million in his bank. That was the reason why he wasn't a customer anymore.
And he was given a NatWest bank account, so that obviously means he doesn't have £1 million in his bank. Yeah? If he's been offered a NatWest bank account, that means he hasn't got £1 million in his Coots. He's been offered a NatWest account because they've closed his Coots account, right? Yeah? He said that before.
No.
She spoke to the
He was
journalist.
offered his account was closed before he was off a NatWest account. It was only when he started kicking up a fuss, he was offered a NatWest account.
Okay, well, the facts are this, if you want to know. He went public at, I think, 7 o'clock on the 29th of June. I'm not sure exactly when he went public, but I think it was 7 o'clock. And that was a Thursday, the 29th of June. At 6:55, he said the next day that he was offered a NatWest account and they'd think about a business account. So that was actually, he was offered that 5 minutes before he actually went live. And he said that 2 days after.
Because he knew he was going live.
Well, yeah, that's fine. But it still means that everybody knew that he didn't have a Coots bank account. He was offered a NatWest one. Yes?
No, but he didn't tell anyone the bank's name.
He told people years ago that he was a member of Coots.
In the media, when he was talking about it, he didn't say it was Coots.
Because Coots run NatWest anyway, so if they said he's been offered a NatWest one, then everybody knows it's Coots. And he said that the day.
He didn't say that.
Days
No, he didn't
afterwards.
say that. He didn't. When he first went public, he mentioned the bank was going to be banking, but he didn't mention the name of the bank.
Oh, he did on the 3rd of July. He said they said I could have a personal account at NatWest and they'd think about a business account. He actually said that. And that was before the lady spoke to the BBC journalist. So I don't think she's done anything wrong. She has just confirmed his original source.
Because if he says I got a NatWest account, that doesn't mean she's allowed to tell a reporter he's got less than £1 million in the bank.
No, but
GDPR?
it says on the website. It says on the website he's got less than £1 million in the bank. So she's just said that's what it says on the website. So she hasn't told him that. That's what it says. She says on the website. It says. I reckon he's fucked. I really do reckon he's fucked.
No, the BBC. If you look at the BBC reporter's response, the reason she resigned is because it conflicts with what she said.
No, yeah, because afterwards it said it might be because he's a racist as well.
He said they got them. Oh God, can we stop talking about this, lady?
This is the thing that they said, which makes me believe that they know the truth, right? They said this, so I think if they said this back in November 2022, our recommendation is not to exit, but if we did decide to do this, then we would need to accept that there is a significant reputational risk to the bank in doing so. It is likely that Nigel Farage would perceive a decision to exit him as unfair, and he would almost certainly use his public platform to communicate this satisfaction.
Yeah, but if they've got a whole dossier on him, nothing to do with his finances, of course it's going to go tits up.
Yeah, but it's only because of the reputation. They said this is what they say on the 10th of March.
No, wait, they had
Go on.
They had the dossier, kept it secret amongst themselves. Then the information is leaked by him. BBC reporter had a dinner with her. Next day, reporter reports. Source, high source. I don't know. Is it high source? Is it high? Someone high up from NatWest, from the bank, has said that he was below the threshold for £1 million.
That's true.
But that wasn't the reason. Because he got the dossier saying all this other stuff. He says true he's below £1 million, right?
Yeah.
One, why is she sharing that information? Is she allowed to share that information, Steve?
Yeah, because it's on the website. It says if you haven't got £1 million, you're not coming in.
No. She specifically talking about him.
Well, I think the reporter asked about him, and she said if you look on the website.
But what she should be saying is that I can't talk to you.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. I think that's. But she did say that it was all in the public domain what she was saying, so it's not as if she was telling secrets out of school.
Though?
It was.
Steve, she commented on him personally.
Yeah, no,
I commented on his personal business.
All she's done is said what he said. She's just repeated what he said.
But what I'm saying, Steve, if there was no wrongdoing by the bank, then why have they resigned?
I'm going to stop it. I'm going to jump in now and stop it just like that. Boom. Because I feel that we've got bogged down in the Nigel Farage fiasco. So, I've done this. So I'm going to show it you, and then we'll come back next week with the last ever Ahh Soles. All right. So we're going to stop the show now, and I'm going to just explain to you what I think is going on with Nigel Farage, and then we'll come back and do the last of the Ahh Soles next week. So basically, Nigel Farage started all this off on the 29th of June. He went live at 7 p.m. on GB News. He had a phone call 5 minutes before he went live, saying that he could be offered a NatWest Bank account and they would talk about his business account. Now, he knew this before he went live, and there is a fair enough assumption that he did sort of do a video, I think 10 o'clock in the morning, saying that he was going to talk about his bank at 7 p.m. So maybe they thought we better go in and offer him a NatWest account, or maybe it was just a coincidence. I don't think it's a coincidence, but what is known is that Nigel Farage did have an opportunity of a bank account 5 minutes before he went live.
Without a bank account, you're a non-person. You can't exist in an increasingly digitised age. How do you pay the gas bill? All of those questions. And so I said at 7 o'clock on Thursday, I'm going to go public on GB News, and blow me down at 5 to 7 if the phone doesn't ring and it's Coots. Oh, hello. We can offer you a personal account with NatWest Bank. Good evening. 2 months ago, I received a phone call from my bank. Now, bear in mind, I'd been with the same banking group since 1980. I have my personal and business accounts there. But 2 months ago, I get a phone call out of the blue from a personal manager who simply says on a phone call, "We are closing your accounts." I asked why. No reason was given. I sent an email to the chairman, and I got someone ring me up and say, "It's purely a commercial decision. It's purely a commercial decision." I thought. So I've tried for 2 months to get another bank account. We can offer you a personal account with NatWest Bank. And I've spoken to 7 different banks. We can offer you a personal account with NatWest Bank. And they've all said no with NatWest Bank. And the reason is, it would seem, it's purely a commercial decision. I don't know precisely what the reason is. It would seem it's purely a commercial decision.
So it was purely a commercial decision. So Nigel Farage has said this at 7 o'clock, that it's purely a commercial decision. He also knew that he did have a bank account, albeit a personal one, and they were going to talk about a business one, 5 minutes before he went live on the 29th of June. So I think he actually said a couple of days later that he was offered a NatWest personal account. So before the BBC story leaked that he didn't have enough money for a Coutts bank account, he'd actually said that it was a commercial decision and he'd been offered a NatWest bank account. So I can't see who leaked the story first, the chairperson of NatWest or Nigel Farage. Then he goes on about the Coutts dossier. Right, the dossier. This dossier is from the bank, and it's reputational risk. So they have to do reputational risk assessments on all their big named clients. Now, Nigel Farage said he's been banking for 35 years with Coutts, but the thing is, he's only been a cunt for 9 of them. So, what is reputational risk? Our recommendation is not to exit, but if we did decide to do this, then we would need to accept that there is a significant reputational risk to the bank in doing so. It is likely that Nigel Farage would perceive a decision to exit him as unfair, and he would almost certainly use his public platform to communicate this dissatisfaction.
I have to begin tonight by talking about the NatWest Coutts saga. As we know, Dame Alison Rose, stood down yesterday. And this morning, we got the announcement that the Chief Executive Officer of Coutts Bank, one Mr. Peter Flavel, had resigned as well. But don't say I didn't warn you. After my account was closed down without any reason given,
It would seem it's purely a commercial decision.
The thing is, it's public knowledge that he was a Coutts customer, because he said that years ago, that he was a Coutts customer. So it's the wealth. this reputational risk committee met on the 17th of November 2022 to discuss Nigel Farage and whether or not him banking with them caused a reputational risk. And they actually said Nigel Farage is already a Coutts customer, which he has made public knowledge. Recommendation is to retain Nigel Farage for now. However, it is noted that Nigel Farage currently has a mortgage with Coutts, which is due to expire in July 2023, and which on a commercial basis we would not look to renew, and so would suggest winding down the connection on that basis.
It would seem it's purely a commercial decision.
In 2022, they said we should exit Nigel Farage when his mortgage comes to the end because it's a commercial decision. It's got nothing to do with the 40-page dossier of the risk assessment they're doing on Nigel Farage to see if he's a risk banking with Coutts. So that was like in November, and now in I think it's March the 10th, I believe, they did decide to exit him. I wanted to make you aware of a commercial exit decision we have made on the account of Nigel Farage. The relationship has been below commercial criteria for some time, and upon review of Nigel's past public profile and connections, the perceived risk for the future weighed against the benefit of retention. The decision was taken to exit upon repayment of an existing mortgage. So the perceived risk weighed against the benefit of keeping him on. So they felt it was more risk to the bank's reputation to keep him on. It had nothing to do with the money thing. It was the fact that he has a reputation for being a bit of a perceived racist. It's a risk having Nigel Farage as a customer. Whether or not he's got the money or not, if he did have the money, it would still be a risk to have him as a customer. Is there any benefit to us, the bank, keeping him on just because of his name? And they say the risk factors included accusations of links to Russia, his controversial public statements which conflict with the bank's ethics, and the possibility of his re-entry into politics. But they also say there is, however, also clearly a risk of negative publicity in exiting, which was accepted.
They are to be the moral guardians of all, and that's because the march through the public and private corporate sectors of left-wing institutions who want to change the way the world is, organisations like Stonewall, has led us exactly to where we are.
Nigel Farage is just a foghorn shouting very loudly. He lost his bank account and he's being a crybaby.
I told the world about 3 weeks ago that Coutts had closed my business and my personal accounts and had not given any reason whatsoever.
So I think they were just protecting their name, and it's really sort of backfired on the way, in a way, because he's such a fucking foghorn.
He's treated me as a customer with total and utter contempt. I wonder how many others are in the same category.
That's what I know about Nigel Farage, and that's why I decided to stop the show there. But please be with us next week when we continue the last ever episode of Ahh Soles. Say goodnight, Av.
We'll meet again. Don't know
where.
Nigel Farage.
So join us again next week when we talk exclusively from Ahh Soles.
Brownstown, Cleveland is right behind you.
Hey, thanks for listening to the show. We hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe and share this because it will help us. And don't forget to tune in next week, 8 p.m. Mondays. Ta-ra! Ahh Soles.